Okay, so today I'm going to do a review of the Faber Castell Polychromos, and in the background is something to watch. I'm drawing a monarch butterfly on a sketchbook, and this will be put in my Etsy store soon, so if you're interested in that then it will be for sale. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the speed paint, and now I'm going to get on with the review. Okay, so I just want to give you like a semi-comparison between Prismacolors and, well, just any other coloured pencils really, and Polychromos. So Polychromos are very light fast. Like, the majority of them have a 3-star rating for light fastness, which means like 100+ years of light fastness. Very few other pencils have this. I know Prismacolors are not light fast. I don't really know much about any other type of pencil, like artist's coloured pencil. They're softer than the average, like, coloured pencil, in the sense they're like a children's coloured pencil, but they're not as soft as Prismacolors. And because of this, they can kind of crumble on the page and leave coloured dust. You need to blow that off the page rather than smudge it off the page, because the heat of your hand can melt the colour into the page. But because it's not as soft as a Prismacolor, the pencil will not break. The way they're made is that the lead is kind of attached somehow to the wooden casing on the outside of the pencil. So even if the kind of lead, for lack of a better word, because I don't know what the name is for it, did break, it's not going to fall out the pencil because it's still attached. Because they're not as soft as Prismacolors, they can be sharpened very sharp to have a very detailed thin point. I mean, I often use them for line art, and I like having very thin line art, so that kind of shows you the point I can get with them. I don't know whether they don't break very often, or whether it's just because of my sharpener. I have the Faber Castell sharpener. I got that before I got the Polychromos, so I mean, maybe it doesn't get as sharp, and maybe it does break with other sharpeners, but I know it definitely works good with the Faber Castell sharpener, and the Faber Castell sharpener works well with other pencils as well, and I don't think it's too expensive, so if they don't work that well with a different sharpener, you should probably get the Faber Castell one. Because they're not wax-based, they're oil-based, they kind of blend like oil pastels, but with a lot more control. So I don't know if you've used oil pastels, but you kind of use them, and when you get a thick layer you can start like manipulating where the colours are, and I feel like that's a similar thing you can do with the Polychromos, but obviously with a lot more control, because oil pastels are like these big chunky crayons, and whereas these are like thin little pointed pencils. So I have two ways I really use the Polychromos. The first way is for detail, or a Copic or watercolour illustration. When I know I'm going to add pencil to these drawings, I try to use really smooth paper, because I don't like the paper texture showing through the coloured pencil lines, and I only want to add thin layers when adding details, so I can't just keep colouring in until the texture's gone, because I don't want that thick of a layer. So I normally am going to use them on marker paper, and I have hot press watercolour paper, but it's still not that crazy smooth, and I will try and find one that is very smooth, but I am happy with the paper I'm using now. It could be better, but it could always be better with paper. Well, I also do coloured pencil illustrations where they're solely coloured pencil, so I often do that with coloured paper because the brightness of the pencils then really stands out, so it's usually like browns. And I use thick layers of the pencil so that I can get the lovely oil pastel-like blending. Now, this is just how I bought them, but in my opinion, this is the best way to buy them. So I got the 36 set on Amazon because it was on sale at that time, and it was the cheapest. Well, it was 5p more expensive than one other place I found the pencils on, but they didn't do free next day delivery, so But I used the pencils for a while, and kind of this is similar to how I've done Copics now, in the sense that I use them for a while and I think, okay, what am I missing? So with the 36 set you get a little booklet, and at the back of the booklet you have a colour chart of all the pencils. So all the kind of colours I knew I wanted, I just looked in the booklet and said, okay, so I want that, that, that and that. And then I ordered on Cult Pens because their shipping's free with orders over £10, and it comes in 1 to 2 days because it's in the UK as well. So they sell the open stock polychromos, and I mostly got flesh tones and greys. I think I got another brown as well. Because I expanded my collection, obviously the 36 set tin wasn't going to hold all my polychromos anymore, and I still want to keep them in rainbow order, and I don't want to keep them in separate places. So I ordered a pencil wrap online that holds 48 pencils, in the hope that I'll limit myself to 48 polychromos, but I don't know how well that'll go, but I'm trying. So that's how I store them. And then for just kind of ease of use, I printed a colour chart, like an empty colour chart that was online, and I will put the link in the description. And it has 3 sections for each colour, so you can see what the pencil looks like colouring the lightest, the darkest, and then you can do like a middle tone, just to see what they'd look like in your drawings. And yeah, I think that's everything I've got to say. I'm very happy with them. They're kind of expensive, but the fact that they're light fast is great, and because they're not crazy soft, they don't seem to be going. Like, I've used them so much and they only seem like a couple of millimeters shorter, so I definitely say they're worth the price, and they've definitely made me like coloured pencils. Before I got the polychromos, well, I tried polychromos in store, so like when they've got them on display and they've got a little notepad in front of them, I tried them on that and I thought they were amazing, because before then I'd only ever used like children's coloured pencils, and so I thought I just hated colour pencils and that was that. But it turned out they were really good ones, and you don't have to hate them because all the things you hate about them are completely gone, at least with the polychromos. So yeah, that's my review of the polychromos. Thank you for watching.